This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. And folks, here we are, 2023, October, Friday the 13th, folks. No, I did not have plastic surgery. I know this is probably an improvement on my face, but this is a signed Jason hockey mask by Ted White of Friday the 13th, the final chapter, who I've had a couple times on the show. And I was like, you know what? We need to do something for Friday the 13th, And I thought, I know somebody's going to come on the show. She was supposed to come on last night, but something caught her attention. She couldn't do it. So she messaged me today and said, let's do it today. And I was like, absolutely. It'll be her 5th time on here as a solo, although she was on once with her friend Melissa Bentley, and she interviewed me on a 2-parter this summer for my 51st birthday. Folks, I give you the lovely redhead herself, who's never without her American Express card, Nancy McLoughlin. Love you, Nancy.
Oh, thank you, Greg. Thank you so much for having me. And it's not an improvement on your face, but it is spooky, scary. Happy Friday the 13th, everybody.
Yes, absolutely. I love your background. Now, are the paintballers going to be back there?
They better not mess with my autumnal background. They better not.
You don't think Whitney's going to appear back there
We
with
could
his
call
big
him.
goggles?
We could call him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I bet you he's out there.
Now,
I bet you he's out there winning because only by accident. He wins the paintball game only by accident. Like
that's true.
like Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther. He solves the
Exactly.
case totally by accident.
That's a very good point.
Mhm.
You have a very good point there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yes, we're on Friday the 13th. Did you watch any of the movies for Friday the 13th?
Yet, no. Will I? Yes. I
I
think I have to. Did you?
I watched part 4 last night because out of all the Jasons, I like Ted White the best
I wouldn't
because
say that to me, but okay.
he is the most vicious playing the part. And of course, he was on the show twice, and he's gone
Yeah.
now. He was 96. He passed away last year, but
Oh my
he said
God, he
he said
was?
yeah, he was 96, and
Wow.
he sent me the signed hockey mask and a couple signed photos. And I've always been a
Oh,
big admirer of his work as a stuntman because, like I said, he doubled for John Wayne, Clark Gable, Lee Marvin, Rock Hudson. I mean, the guy had quite the career before he played Jason.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Oh, okay. Now you've made me a winner.
Now,
I'm on their side.
in terms of zombie Jason, my favorite is C.J. Graham of Part 6. And Part 6, I consider Part 4 the scariest. But I consider part 6 probably the most fun to see with an audience. And of course, I got the box set here, and here's Jason Lives right here. Signed, I mean, we got CJ Graham, who's never been a guest on the show here, but CJ Graham, Jason 6, 18 kills. And then we got Tom Matthews down here. It's Tommy, 1 kill. And I had to question him about that. Yes, I had to question him about that because I met him twice in person last year, once at Horrorama and once at Frightmare in the Falls. And I said, look, Tom, technically, isn't Jennifer Cook the one who killed Jason in part 6? And you know what he says? He
Yeah.
says, yeah, but I helped bring him up to. I said, yeah, but who killed him? And he finally had to say, Jennifer killed him.
Very funny. He's charming and he's funny and he's kind.
I love Tom
I
Matthews.
have no kills either. I
No,
didn't
but you
kill
had an
anyone.
American Express card.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
Yes, I
but
did.
But I'll
And
tell you, yeah. Oh,
what does that say? Can
you
you read
got
it?
you no, because you got to stand up with it. Here you go. Elizabeth Lives.
I
Yeah,
didn't
you gonna
buy
sell
either.
those at the con?
I would love people to enjoy them.
You need to put the image of you in the puddle though. Yeah, I see that, but you need to put it on the front.
It is
Yeah.
on the skirts that will be at the con. They'll be on the front. This is my shirt, so I can wear my hockey mask.
There you go.
So a little bit, it's just better. And you can wear your hockey. Oh, we have our hockey mask.
We have our hockey mask.
I see. You couldn't go on your head. It couldn't go on your
No, not
head. Your head
quite.
go
Not with this,
disappear.
not with the mask on,
I don't think so.
but I have it.
I
I
know you
have the
do.
hockey mask. Actually, I'm gonna let that dangle right down here because I'm gonna put that right around this flashlight that's sitting up here.
That's cool.
There
That's a little scary cool.
you
That
go.
looks really good.
Yeah, and you're gonna have some of these at your table, right?
I am. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have yeah, and I believe my son's gonna be there, which is gonna be exciting.
Hmm.
And just I hate to call people fans. Anybody that watches a movie more than once, I just adore. And that people are so gracious and kind. And we're all so similar once you start talking, right? You
Hmm.
start realizing there's fan person who was in it, who cares? You just get great conversations. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to hanging out.
There we go. There we go. No, I got the big box set here, so it's
Have
got
I
all
signed it?
sign mine?
Yeah.
No, nobody signed mine. But I have a few movies in here I've got signed though.
Good.
I got two signatures on Jason Lives. And when I go to Frightmare in the Falls, I'm going to get some signatures on part four. Um, part two got well signed last year when I met a bunch of the cast from that.
I've got to
And
take this picture. It looks so cool with a little hockey mask in front of it. I can't
yeah.
tell you how cool that looks in front of Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very cool.
There you go.
Okay, just had to do that. That was for me.
There you go. Nope. So I grew up with these films and love these films, and
Yeah.
so yeah, I got the box set, but I learned from my friend the Creepy Ghoul from Toronto that takes a lot less room in your suitcase if you just bring the little slip art. Yep, so that's what I'm gonna start doing. So yeah, I got a few of these with signatures on them. So perfect. So
Why do you think you were attracted to horror movies?
I originally wasn't. I was originally scared of horror movies. I like I said, I remember it was every Friday night when I was a little kid, there was a horror movie come on every
Mhm.
Friday night, and I remember some of them that came on. I would see years later. Salem's Lot was one I remember. I saw again recently. It didn't have the effect on me now that it did then. But I remember that was on a couple of times. Once at my cousin's place, and
Mm.
once at our place. The cousins would come over every Friday night to be a horror movie, and I'd be too scared to watch, but too scared not to watch because I was one of these people that like to see good vanquish evil.
Yes,
And I
yes.
rarely got that satisfaction at the end of these movies. But Salem's Lot was one that played one of those nights, and Horror High played one of those nights, and I had Pat Carty from that on, and which was really cool. And I remember Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things was one that come on, which looking back on that, that seems, I mean, I love Bob Clark. He went on to do Black Christmas and A Christmas Story and Porky's. I don't consider Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things up to par with those.
Mhm.
It's a little more hokey now, but But I remember my cousins, my older brother baited me into watching Friday the 13th Part 2, and I fell for it. And like I said, when Kirsten Baker goes naked into the lake, that was where my mom come in and turned the TV off.
I love your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first time seeing a naked woman.
I did not know that. You never
Yeah,
shared that.
Kirsten Baker, and I hope to one time meet her so I could tell her that. But that was my first time seeing a naked woman. Now, my cousins managed to sneak it back on later. So, and of course, I couldn't not watch it because this guy with the sack over his head, which is what Jason had in Part 2. I needed to see him get his comeuppance, and well, didn't happen. How I
Oh,
got into horror movies, my older brother was very cynical this way. He said to me, he says, Greg, you watch Conan the Barbarian, and that's full of blood. You watch The Beastmaster and movies like that. And I said, yeah, but Jason's not fighting Conan or the Beastmaster. He's fighting these poor defenseless women, which looking back aren't really that defenseless. but but he had a point. So anyway, he baited me into because my uncle owned a video store at the time, and he had parts 1 through 6 there. He had the store from 81 to 88. Strangely enough, the part 1 tape was busted or something, and I never saw part 5 or 6 till a birthday party for a classmate's place in grade 7 or 8.
mhm.
So it was we only saw parts 2, 3, and 4 at my uncle's store. And my brother had said to me, my older brother said to me, talked me into watching part 4, which I was very reluctant to do. And I don't know how he convinced me to do it, but I watched it based on the fact that he said that Jason died. And technically, he wasn't lying to me because that was the end of Jason in human form, basically. And the guy who wore the hockey mask in that is the one I got on right now. And it's funny, I watched a lot of it with my hands over my face, but
Yeah.
I came away from it like, I think I can do another one, you know? And it got to the point, I remember one night my older brother and I watched parts 2, 3, and 4 all in succession one night. Well, because we had the house to ourselves, and it's like, then I got kind of hooked. But
Mm,
I like horror movies, but I also like teen comedies. I like comedies in general. And I like experimental films like the Coen brothers, Stanley Kubrick, and David Lynch, and filmmakers like that uh, do experimental films, you know? Like, I mean, I forget the actor,
mm.
Bonnie Aarons, who plays the nun. You know, she gets a lot of attention for
You
playing
mean
the
Sally
nun.
Fields?
Huh?
You mean Sally Fields?
No, Bonnie Aarons, who plays the nun in those
I was
Conjuring type movies.
kidding.
But here's the thing: I would much rather talk to Bonnie Aarons about playing the ominous homeless person in the back of Winky's Diner in Mulholland Drive than the Nun movies, you know, because Mulholland Drive was one of those experimental movies. Or
Mhm.
something like Amelie, which is a foreign film, which was so experimental in the way it was shot and expressed and whatnot. And, you know, I like the Coen brothers, like the Big Lebowski and stuff like that. And I like filmmakers that are experimental and try new things, you know. And so a lot of people, they look at my blog and they think it's just horror films. Well, if you really look through my database of interviews, it's really not just horror films. There's a lot of
Greg, I can speak up for that. I
mm-hmm.
know that. I know that's very
Yeah,
true. And
yeah.
that is what I like so much is that you have a very open mind to hear and see what's on other people's hearts.
Mhm.
And that is truly to be commended.
Absolutely,
A
absolutely.
very lovely quality.
But I
And
love the fact here.
hmm,
I want to get into this because I never started I started the podcast in 2015, but Lisa Langlois, of course, from class of 1984, and happy birthday to me. She invited me to my first con in 2017, and Lisa's really schooled me on improving myself. Like now I got my business cards, and she's taught me to do this and do that. And while I was in Toronto,
that's
she
great.
showed me all the bases on how to use the subways and streetcars. Got to the point with the subways now where when I get out, I know right where to go and this and that, and so the first couple times down there, Lisa had to meet me, but now it's like I could just go and navigate myself quite well. So because we don't have subways here in Fredericton, so I really appreciate that. And Lisa introduced me to the con world, and I'm going to be doing Frightmare in the Falls with her in 2 weeks. Um, from October 27th to October 29th, 2023. And so I am very much looking forward to that. And we're going to be seated next to, according to the seating arrangements, right next to Eileen Dietz from The Exorcist, who's going to have a beanie for me. That's already paid for. So I'm looking forward to sitting by her. And I know you and her know each other. So
Yes, we go way back. And
I
I've got a beanie for you.
you got a
Uh,
beanie for me?
they're not finished, but I have a baseball cap.
There you go.
My beanie will say Friday the 13th, part 6. Lisbeth lives.
Will it come
Oh,
with an American? Will it come with an American Express card in case I need to leave home?
yeah, I will. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
But I'll tell you,
I was never into horror movies, and my sister would sit on me, and as soon as my parents would leave on Friday nights, she would force me to watch scary things. And the reason I was too chicken to go upstairs and be alone, because I thought the Indians in the closet were going to attack me if I went upstairs on my own. So I had to watch a lot of shows like this. So being a part of this series has been really great because I see a whole new side. I see a whole new side of people that love it and that go and support it. And other reasons why people like scary movies. It's not just, I think there's a lot more depth in there. We want answers, such as yourself, wanting to see good win out. And I think actually 6 is kind of one of the best in that
I
because it's
love 6. Yeah,
humorous,
yeah.
because the humor, because it wasn't no, that was pretty darn violent, but I'm not sure. But am I like the only not killed, but technically killed, one that does nothing wrong?
Carrie
Oh,
Noonan.
really?
I always felt bad when she got killed off because it's like they always say the pure girl always lives, and I'm like, she was more pure than the character Jennifer Cook played, Megan. When you come right down to it, I always
Right.
felt bad for Paula, the Carrie Noonan character. It's like you want to talk about somebody that you, I mean, she's somebody you want to put your kids in care of. She just
You
seemed to be.
didn't feel
Yeah,
bad for me?
I did feel bad for you, but I'm saying as a whole, they always talk of course. I'm the only one to have noticed this, but in the movie X, um, the heroine in that survived, and she broke all the rules brought up in Scream. She had sex, she got naked, she did drugs, she you name it, she did, and she survived. And I love X, but what I'm going to say with part 6, it brings forth a lot of stuff that you don't see in a not just a Friday the 13th, but a lot of horror movies in general. I mean, you get a car chase in this.
Hmm.
You get a nice RV flip with that iconic shot of CJ Graham as Jason standing up on the RV. I mean, that's a great shot.
We
Whether it
all
was like,
stayed up all night to watch that show
yeah,
because it was a oneer and doneer, and they had to do it well. And that was a very exciting night.
yeah. And on his way to camp, you got like some of these you could almost say could be subplots that if they weren't there, you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Tom McLoughlin shot this thing and wrote this thing so well
Mm.
that these subplots they actually kind of fit because number one, Jason's on his way back to camp. What's he going to do on his way back to camp? You got to find ways for him to encounter people, and I love how he details. First, he comes across you and Tony
Can we go?
Goldwyn. That works. You guys were going to open the camp. That works. Then he comes across the paintballers. Now, there's been people complain saying, well, that part they could have
That
left out and
works.
not know. But here's the thing. I love the paintball scene because it's funny, but it's not funny to the detriment of Jason.
It works so well because that was the years they were coming out with get your work together to do fun activities outside.
Hmm.
So it was not unrealistic in the slightest. It would be a bunch of oddball people together trying to do this thing they didn't know how to do in a place, and it would be to get camaraderie. So
Yep.
it really, I honestly think you're totally correct. I think it works beautifully.
Yep. And then from there, he comes across Roger Rose and Cynthia Kenya on the motor and the Bob Larkin as the uh,
Mhm.
caregiver slash drunk. He comes across them, and
He
that
overdrank
ties.
that evening. That evening, he
Yeah, I love that. And then finally, when he comes across um, Darcy DeMoss and Tom Fridley in the RV, all of these are people could say they're pointless subplots, but they kind of work for me because they're detailing Jason's trip back to camp, and then he finally gets back to camp. And then there's, I'm trying to think who the African American woman is. I can't remember the actress's name, but there's
Stacy,
her.
the character name. Ah,
There was her, and then there's Carrie Noonan, who I've had on the show. And you get the kids at the camp. This is the first one that has kids at the camp. You get a
and
great Alice
what was her name?
Nancy.
And what was
But
she
here's
doing?
another thing.
She
Here's
was
another
praying.
thing. She does the prayer thing, which Paula says suggested. She does a prayer thing, and even that's not corny. I love the fact that she says a little prayer, and then Jason's gone. I'm like, yes, Jesus lives.
Amen.
Jesus lives, and I'm just gonna
That,
say it.
that
Jesus
was
lives.
Jesus lives.
Yep. And
Actually,
then
that's what about my t-shirt should say. It should not say Elizabeth lives. It should say Jesus lives. You're so correct. Why
yep.
didn't you tell me that sooner?
But I
Darn
mean,
it, that's good.
even
Darn
more
it.
stuff though. You get a great Alice. You got Alice Cooper involved. Who better? You got Alice Cooper in the soundtrack.
And Alice Cooper loves the Lord. You know that,
I
right?
do know that.
That's amazing. I
I do
mean,
know that.
that's kind of cool too.
Yep.
Um,
And then
but
you got cops in this movie, like he's picking off police. There's just then the climax on the lake was just perfect. And then of course all of Tom McLaughlin's references to old monster movies, like the whole Frankensteinian opening was
it's
great.
beautiful.
And then the wink at the camera things, like there's some stuff like when Ron Palillo says, can we please stop, please? My heart can't take any more of this. And I love that because his heart really isn't going to take much more because it's going to end up outside his body in Jason's hand. Or you got Bob Larkin saying to he's talking to the liquor bottle and goes, kisses it and goes, "You're gonna be the death of me." And of course, he is the death of him because Jason breaks a wine bottle and shoves it in his throat. And I'm like, you know what? And it doesn't take away from the film, you
Amen.
know?
I think you're so
Yeah.
right. I think he did a brilliant job.
Yeah, but if I was to look at on iconic moments in the film, my favorite scene in any of these movies, it was always, and I always love this moment in part four where Kimberly Beck as Trish, well, actually it was stunt woman, but still, she has a choice: either go through Jason or go out that top window. She's got to
They had
risk
stunt
something to,
women then. They had stunt people. We didn't have stunt
yeah.
people.
Well, this
Not fair.
when she goes flying out that window. Now she says this is her might be her one chance, her best chance, because you got Corey Feldman's Tommy back at the house. But she had to make a risk, and she felt the lesser risk was going out the window and doing that drop, and she survived it. But I always loved that slow motion shot outside that top window. That's my favorite scene in the entire franchise. Is that?
Oh, I
But
gotta
if
see
I
it.
was, but if I was to rank my favorite scenes in the franchise, the RV flipping with CJ Graham coming up out of that was a great shot. Like Tom McLoughlin knew what he was doing, and if they're going to make more of these movies, put Tom behind the camera or Vincent
You like
DeSante,
him.
one or the other.
I
You
think you
know.
like Tom McLaughlin.
Tom, he takes the stuff seriously.
He
One of
does.
the things I couldn't stand about Freddy versus Jason is they brought in Ronnie Yu, who I've got nothing against. He did Bride of Chucky, but they brought him in to direct Freddy versus Jason.
Mhm.
And here's the thing: he had only seen the original Friday the 13th and the original Nightmare on Elm Street in preparation for that. Elm Street, you can get away with it because Freddy's actually in it. What are you going to come away with from the original Friday the 13th to make
Hmm.
Freddy versus Jason?
Good,
Nothing.
good point.
I would have handed him a copy of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, and Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, and said, look, do your homework. Those are the two to see as parts 4 and 6. If you see those two, then then you should be schooled enough on how to make one of these movies. But watching the original Friday the 13th, you're not going to get sweet frig all on what Jason is. And nothing against Ronnie Yu, but he was the wrong guy to direct it. So they get a choice if they make a new movie. Tom McLoughlin or Vincent DeSante of Never Hike Alone. Go one or the other, or don't do it. That's what I say to that.
And I'll never ask you that question.
Well, here's the
That's
thing.
what's being silly.
I watched what they did with the last Halloween trilogy. And originally they were all supposed to take place in one night, with the third one ending at dawn. And instead, the pandemic happened and whatnot, and they decided to have the third one take place 4 years later. And I hate the direction they went in. And I had this conversation with Darla Ray yesterday, who was one of Jamie Lee Curtis's classmates and one of the extras in the scene in the classroom. And she expressed her displeasure with, because I liked the 2018 Halloween film, and I liked the Halloween Kills, with the exception of the extended ending part.
Hmm.
Didn't care for that. They messed up. And I'm like, you know what? If you're going to do this, either respect the fans or don't do it. And they were saying Halloween Kill or Halloween Ends was going to be divisive. Why? You're either going to make something that the fans want to see, or you're just it's like you're trolling us. And if you're going to troll us, go away and put somebody in there that's going to do it. So there you go. And so I think that Jason Lives to me, technically, if I was to rank these on quality, I'd put Jason Lives at the top of the list. If I was listing them by scariest, I'd say the final chapter has got that. And I like others in the franchise, and then there's stuff about some of them that I just can't wrap my mind around, but parts 4 and 6 are the two I can nitpick at the least out of the bunch. But anyway, like I said, I'm doing Frightmare in the Falls with Lisa Langlois,
I know.
and you are going to be doing Chiller.
I'm very excited.
I've heard great things about Chiller. I know Tom Matthews has been to Chiller.
Oh, yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
hear wonderful things about it. I'm just tremendously excited. I don't know what to expect. It just is going to be, who knows? But I will be there in 2 weeks.
And I
It starts.
love the fact I'm so honored. This is why I love you as a friend. Like you and I have not physically met, but you'd
No,
think we've known each other for a long time because we talk all the time. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact we share the same faith, And but I love the fact that you reached out to me and you asked me about stuff for the con and t-shirts and stuff. I think t-shirts is a great idea. Photos, and I talked to you about photos. And yes, One Dark Night, and something you definitely should have a shot or two from that as well. But you asked me about that, and I told you. And then we got into other things like the medallions here. But hey, I love one other
it
little
looks so
idea.
cool. It looks so cool. Huh?
I love the other little idea we come up with, the Lisbeth American Express card. I think
Ac-
fans would go nuts over that.
Well, I'm in the works on taking care of that. I'm
I
in the
think,
works on.
oh yeah, I guarantee. I think fans would. If they don't, I'd be surprised because that is one of the key components on that scene. The little "don't leave home without it." But you do it something like that, but you have a Lisbeth touch on it. I
I have
think,
it in mind. I have it
yeah.
works as we speak.
I
And
think that would be brilliant.
it's just going to be all fun. It's
Yeah.
just exciting. And the faith aspect is one of the things that draws me very close to you because I just love that you love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and have been hurt. And you don't turn your back on God. And I overheard somebody say this once, that then that's when it takes a little more courage, maybe, but to go back, because churches are not perfect. They're filled with broken people. But
Mm-hmm.
I think you have a pure heart, and maybe they need to hear more of your heart in there. And I just think community matters so much. I believe in community. And it's how we all touch one another, and it's how we grow. And I am now writing a script that my father wrote as a book called The Morning Glory Gang,
Okay.
and in homage to him, with my writing partner, Mark, who lives in Turkey. We're sending things back and forth. And it's just fun to have community and to give grace, to do other things, to branch out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's scary. Well, everything's probably pretty scary, but it's scary out there and it's fun. It's really fun to just really go for it. I also have a fairy tale I'm writing, which I think is going to be wonderful. A courtroom drama, who would assume, but just different little things I'm writing. Been acting in a lot of little things that or getting big things that keep getting pushed and pushed.
Are you
We
going to
keep
be on screen with these?
Oh yeah, I hope these strikes end quickly. We have to stand up and do what we got to do now, or you got to stand up.
You going to have Lean Dietz in there doing her Pazuzu thing?
I don't know. Maybe
Are
you
you
could
gonna
find out.
are you gonna have lovely Lar Park Lincoln in there?
Do love my Laura. I haven't seen her in, last time I saw her, I was at a con.
I love Lar.
I do too. She is a heart of gold. She's a
Yeah,
lovely. Maybe
yeah.
she'll be a killer.
Never know. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised if I know she's done Frightmare in the Falls one year before I went to it. I'd love to meet Lar.
Lot. She
Yeah.
does a lot, and she's very business minded. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not as business minded as Laura. She
Yeah.
does those things very well.
Skittles handles mine.
Douglas handles mine.
Yeah. What about
I'm
Abby?
done.
What about Abigail?
Abigail, she takes care of a man. She makes sure he's fed. She's looking
What
for
about Abby Gabby Corncob?
she's busy. That girl's busy.
Abby Cobb. Abby
That's one
Gabby
I'm talking about.
Corncob.
You love that one. Gosh, I'm
I don't know. I don't know what she's doing now. I just know that some point, if I ever get her on here, I'd love to just throw that name at her.
she'd love it.
Yeah.
She's a lot of fun. I love the way the mask keeps disappearing and appearing.
hmm
Disappearing. How come?
Because of the background filter. Yeah, it makes stuff disappear
Toronto.
and reappear.
It's of Toronto.
Yep, I love Toronto, of course, and I wish I was able to get moved there for that job, but doesn't look like that's going to happen because our
But prayer
country
changes things.
our country has a real problem with politicians throwing their attention to things that really don't friggin' matter, like the stupid censorship bill on like they can cut the shit. We all know it's about control. So they can cut the crap on that. People aren't stupid, but I don't know why. Like, did you ever in your life, especially at Christmas time, get somebody a gift that you know they're going to love and you can't wait to see their reaction to it. And it's so fun watching them get that gift and they're just, oh, wow, this was great. Or you do something special for somebody and they don't know that you did it,
Yes.
but you get to see the reaction and it's like it's so priceless. I wish we'd get politicians that had that attitude. Like, what can we do for the people? Like, censorship bills, I'm sorry, but Trudeau can cut the crap. I'm so tired of the stuff like that has no meaning. How about something like, gee, we have a problem with homeless. We have a problem with housing prices, inflation and prices. We have a problem with rent inflation. How about deal something like that where people can benefit?
I do think it makes a difference with prayer. I think that's something that does change things. And I think there's miracles all around. I do agree with you, Greg. I agree with you. I'm not a politician for a very strong reason, but I see things changing. I really do. And I see things change in people's health. See things change in their financial circumstances. I see I see that's something we can do. That's something we have power over. And I think if we get together and as a community come together and start speaking our mind and praying and really beseeching our God to make a difference and not get swallowed up by what's going on, because right now is not a pretty time in the world. Obviously, that's where I was. I was on the phone last night with some friends from Israel,
Yeah.
And I do apologize for.
Oh, no, 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 no. I get it. I know we were supposed to do this last night. I get it. Look, I understand. I mean, you got your message today. I know I'm going to my younger brother's place later on this evening. That's why I wanted to bump this up a little bit.
Yeah,
So, but
that's
I'm
good.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad we're able to do this. This is
So
fantastic.
when we see something like what's going on in Israel,
hmm
uh, all we can do is pray. There's so much darkness out there that I like to look for miracles. And you had that guest, Michael Sewell, who's has that miracle station.
Yeah.
Check your head stories. And the miracles are amazing.
You
And
know what I'm thinking as the more I look at it, and I see it more and more watching the situation here in Canada. And people can call me nuts if they don't believe that's up to them. It's their prerogative. But the mark of the beast is coming. I can see it now. Luckily for those of us that believe, we're not going to be here for that. But you can see it, and I hate the fact that I love Canada, but it's feeling more like a dictatorship. And
the
it's some
kindest
I
country, known as the kindest country in the world, going by the wayside. I mean, I don't know because I don't follow politics, but from what I hear from you, you're very disgruntled by it, and you have every right to be.
You know
It's
what? I've been trying to move to Toronto to take a job there that I was offered, and I thought it was just going to be a matter of me because I don't have a whole lot of stuff. One U-Haul, I could pack my stuff up and go down there. Problem is number one, I mean, you hear about credit card fraud, but I never knew anything about apartment fraud before. I never fell for it. But it's like apartment scams and people like it's like get a life, people, you know? And
mm,
number two, it's like I try to get people to help me find a place down there. I'd like to get a bachelor apartment, someplace that I could take my cat. But the lower they come back at me, well, can't you be lenient, a little lenient? The lowest we can get is $2,200. Like I can't live off that. I can't live on that. I'm working at the hospital down there. I can't do 2,200 a month. I just not feasible. And for a bachelor apartment, and it's like um I wasn't not able to get down there. And uh a big problem for me is that ever since I happened, because I was looking up a lot of stuff online to try to find an apartment, and one time I came across a YouTube debate video between Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre. And right now, or not Pierre, yeah, Pierre Poilievre. I don't know. I'm not going to tell people who to vote for and who not to. But Pierre Poilievre right now is looking like he's making sense right now. Now, whether he comes through on his promises if he's elected remains to be seen. I hope he's one of the ones that comes through and makes a difference.
mm-hmm.
But I know right now with the way things are going, I don't want to name names, but somebody needs their ass kicked out of office quickly, you know?
I know you're not
So,
talking about me.
nope, not you. Actually, I prefer you to be in charge.
I'm listening. I'm 1 second. I have to get something. I'll be right back.
Oh,
Yo,
you go get Abigail. You go get Abigail.
I'm gonna get my Abby. So
Yeah,
she's not shabby, and she's
yeah, Abby's not so shabby. Look at this, folks. This nice medallion. You go see Nancy McLoughlin at Chiller. Get yourself a medallion. She's gonna have the American Express cards, Elizabeth American Express cards there. She have T-shirts. She's gonna have photos from headshots of her, shots from Jason Lives, and she might even have some One Dark Night in there, or
I should get a One Dark Night. Oh, you know what I have? Abby.
yeah, that Abby looks like a wiener dog.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. 1 second, Greg. You're gonna love
Yeah,
this. You're gonna
yeah,
love it. I can't believe
okay. And of course, she did the what is the movie she did that had Phoebe Cates in it? If the Angels, But again, you go see Nancy. She's still got the gorgeous red hair, and she's full of class. And she did a Doubtfire Face challenge for suicide and depression awareness, um, which I advocate for as well. So that was a lot of fun. So anyway, yeah. So we got a beautiful background for those that are watching this on video. Got nice fall leaves there in the background, so we're at that time of year where it's a blend between fall and well, a blend between cold and hot. Kind of that right temperature, folks. So
You're at
there
the
you go.
perfect time. What is
There
it?
you go. And of
What is
course,
your
folks, I don't know. I don't know. But here we are on Friday the 13th and talking about Jason Lives and wearing a nice Ted White hockey mask here. Now, what do we have here?
Let's see if you can figure it out.
Sisters. Is that like a reference to you and Carrie Noonan in the movie?
One Dark
No?
Night. It's an
Wonder.
original
Yeah,
One Dark Night Sisters jacket. There were four.
okay. I have to be frank. I've never seen One Dark Night. I've got to see that.
It's Quentin Tarantino's favorite 80s movie, supposedly.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
okay.
Not favorite 80s movie, but a favorite of that genre. You know what I
Does
mean?
he like that more than my sex tapes?
I don't know. That's what Tom said. Tom said that all this information is from Tommy, not me. I have no idea. But how I got this is from Meg Tilly. And
Yes.
the story is beyond, beyond, beyond. They had to do retakes, and it was very low budget. And the actress wouldn't come back. And I'd love to say her name. She was not a very pleasant person, but I won't go there. So I had to play her in our backyard. They had to redo the mausoleum, and it was just a bunch of bodies on top of, you'd see blonde hair in the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do it. So there was a lot to get done very quickly. So he asked me if I could go pick up the jacket from said actress. And so I did. And I went to pick it up. And when I got there, she was expecting Tommy and was very annoyed that it was me, and just said, you're going to make sure it comes back in perfect condition, right? I said, absolutely. We're going to do everything we can to make sure it comes back in perfect condition. I mean, I have no power, yeah, but back and forth till she slapped me across the face, knocked my glasses off.
Come
And
on, name her name. Call her out on here.
why?
I know. To me, I would. Like, I'm gonna tell you. I don't believe in hitting women, but I mean, you slap me in the
She
face
slapped me in
without.
the face.
Yeah, but she slapped me in the face and it wasn't called for. Run. Like
Well,
seriously, run. You know.
I actually lost my mind a little bit, I'm going to say, because I had the jacket. I said, because she had handed it to me already. And that's why she slapped my face, because she grabbed it to grab it back. And I knew how important the jacket was for the reshoot. So
Mm-hmm.
I held on to it and I said, Robin, I have to take the jacket. I'm going to call the police. You're stealing. I said her name.
That's okay.
I have to take it. And I held on to it, and she's fighting me for it. And that's when she started slapping my face.
Why
And
didn't you haul off and deck her back?
okay, well, this is the very funny part. So I realized I was being crazy by holding on to it and allowing this woman to slap my face. So I just looked her in the eyes. I must have scared the pants off her. You slap me again in my face, and it'll be the last person you ever slap. I didn't even know where that came from. And then as soon as I said that, I went, that's crazy. And I dropped the jacket and I left the apartment. But when I left the apartment, I hysterically started crying. I just started crying because I had never behaved like that in my life. Not that I did anything, and I didn't even take the jacket. I hid from going home for about 5 hours, terrified Tommy was going to kill me for not getting the jacket. And what was Tommy and Michael, the co-writer director, response? Why didn't you just slug her? And I was like, and so that evening we get a little knock at the door, and it's Meg Tilly. And she goes, "You can have my jacket. No, you don't have to give it back. It's okay."
Well, you know what? It's nice
That
that
just shows you the quality.
Meg Tilly obviously it's awesome, but
Awesome.
but
And
no,
the
like
other
I'm
actress
not.
wanted her own makeup, her own hair, and she never did anything after that.
Well, I know one thing. If it was me, like I'm not advocating violence, but
No, you're
like
not.
there's only so far. Like I found this out my last job I lost. There's only so far I'm willing to be pushed.
Oh, of
And
course.
if I was slapped like that and it wasn't called for, it would be one dark night for that individual.
I have to say, I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. All I knew is my job was to get the jacket, get home for reshoots. And then you know what I find out? Um, there were a lot of fake bodies on top of me, but there were a lot of real bones on top of me too. So
Oh
not only do I
wow,
have to get slapped by this woman, put up with this woman, I have to, but I have another little jacket to show you.
sure.
So I might bring that, and I might have someone get that jacket. Maybe.
Actually, why? No, no, no. If that's the one Meg Tilly had, keep it.
No, I am.
But you can make replicas of it.
I'm not gonna make replicas of it. But I am loving it. I do love it to pieces. So
You want me to tell you what I would do if I were you?
you can tell me.
Look at
What is
that. Yeah. Oh wow. I love
it?
that. Yeah.
So I have a bunch of different vintage jackets that I made there. It's all
Mm-hmm.
really cool wool, whatever, and handmade. So I just went and bought a bunch of denim, corduroy, not a bunch, just like 8. So I have 8 Jason jackets I'm gonna bring. I
I
might wear
love
the
that.
sister's jacket though, because I love it.
What I would do with the one Dark Knight one, keep it. Don't get
Oh
rid of
yeah.
it, keep it. But maybe make here's what I do. I make maybe 5 replicas of it. Put a not an outrageous price, but a high enough price where it's like these are rare. These are rare. It's kind of like I've been to the tables before where they'd have something that was might be a little pricey, but
Yeah.
it'd be like and then they would catch on it, be like, this is a rare item right here. And that's why the price is so high on it. And some people, especially diehard fans, might be like, you know what? I'm gonna grab that. But I would
That
only make,
jacket is priceless. That
yeah.
jacket is priceless just because of the story and just because it shows the quality of a Meg Tilly
Hmm.
and the kindness. And I wanted to give it back to her, and we worked with her later on, which was really fun. And she always laughs about it. And it's very faded. I've never really worn it, but it's very faded. It's very 80s. I wore it too. Oh gosh. I went to a dinner dance, which was 80s, uh, Valentine's Day with someone you might know. Um, and I wore that jacket because it was so 80s and perfect because it was an 80s
Who was it that I might know?
dance. We don't have to say names.
What was it? Hannah with her bare feet?
No, that wasn't Hannah. The light is losing me. This is terrible.
There you go.
I'm hearing my neighbors play. They're swimming.
Is
Can you
Hannah
go
in
see
there
them
with her
now?
bare feet?
Hannah's not here.
Oh, then let's talk about her. Let's talk about her since she's not here. Let's talk about Hannah and her bare feet and Hannah and her little toes that you go, this little piggy.
Oh, that's Abigail's.
Oh,
Those are Abigail's toes and bows and everything. So those are fun things. And you're not going to believe this. I've been invited to dinner this evening for
nice.
Friday the 13th dinner, probably for Friday the 13th, I'm guessing. Oh, do I wear my t-shirt?
The paintballers invite you out. Is that it?
No, paintballers didn't. Not the paintballers.
Just a
Um,
question, going back to Hannah, is it true she ruined your watermelon?
which one?
The one in the pool?
Oh, who told you that? Did I tell you that?
No, I know you had bad watermelon. I'm just kind of throwing it at her just because she's not here to defend herself.
I have those watermelons, to be honest, if you really just have to lay on them. But like I had a few kids over the other day and another watermelon's gone. Because you can't jump. They're not things that you fight over. They're just huge
Are
7 foot, 8 foot
you telling
slices
me
of
that
watermelon.
Hannah and her bare feet were fighting over the watermelon?
No, the boys were.
Oh,
The boys were, the young boys were. And they were very sweet. Do you want to see the watermelon? I have a new watermelon.
you got a new watermelon?
I gotta unplug this. Hold on, I'll show you my new watermelon. My new watermelon. My new watermelon. My
By the
news.
way, Hannah Barefoot did a Doubtfire Face challenge too, and that was pretty awesome.
She's incredible. We love
Yeah,
our Hannahs.
yeah, Hannah and her bare feet. Boy, I love all the fall decorations you got up there, the leaves.
You
You're,
know?
co- yeah, you're of course 4 hours behind me, so
So we're a little light than you.
there you go.
Ha ha ha.
Look at
Just see the
that. Oh,
watermelon.
beautiful.
Yes.
That's your watermelon. So
Someone
that's what Hannah did a big frog splash on.
is gonna that watermelon. Oh, that watermelon's been changed many times, but this watermelon obviously just was messed with too. You can
There
see
you go.
it's oh,
Oh,
there's some kids going to the neighbor house and they're having fun. Everybody's having fun and it's all good.
what
And
about the
that's
paintballers? Are they having fun?
they don't ever come over.
They do while you're asleep.
Oh, is that the paint drippings I see?
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
point.
I bet you Whitney
Very
was
good
on.
point.
I bet Whitney was on the watermelon and the flamingo.
The flamingo is put away. I
Oh,
had a
Whitney knows where the flamingo is. I know it.
Barbie and Ken had a party here, and it's hysterical. They they had a little Barbie and Ken motorboat that
Mm-hmm.
was floating around the the pool,
Mm-hmm.
and all these people were in the pool, and I just kept the camera on the boat, and you're hearing all these conversations. Oh, and men. Oh, I can't believe he did that. And this is I just see Barbie and Ken floating around the pool. It's the funniest thing.
I see
I
Abigail.
get where is she?
He walked down the strip there in the pool.
She likes to walk right straight down there. She's so cool.
Yeah.
Abigail's cool. So we're pretending it's cold out. So let's go back inside.
But I was gonna say
But
too, speaking of paintballers, I got mail from Ann Ryerson recently, a nice autograph picture and
I bet.
a nice little letter in it, and I know you two were at a screening of Jason Lives. Was
In
recent?
July,
Yeah, and you guys I love the fact my name came up.
I brought you up immediately.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so if you like Disneyland, that's a Disneyland map from 1958 when you walked into the park.
there you go.
There you go. I better go because I have to get dressed. I can't wear this.
Well, just one more question. Are you gonna dress Abigail up for Halloween?
Yes.
You gonna put a bun on her and make her a hot dog?
No, she's gonna be Mademoiselle Good Vibes. She has a little Good Vibes dress, and doesn't it feel cold all of a sudden? Kinda here.
Cold. You don't know what cold is.
You just mess with me. I know what cold is. I just happen to live here now. I was raised in New Jersey. We know what cold is.
Hmm.
I
Well,
think.
you know what? It's wonderful chatting with you tonight and celebrating Friday the 13th and Jason Lives and there you go.
Who
Look at
else?
that cap. There you go.
Lisbeth
Lisbeth
lives.
Lives.
If only it said
Yeah.
Jesus lives. I blew
Hey,
it. I could have made a difference. But
well,
isn't that jacket spectacular?
yes, it is.
I'm glad you
Yes,
saw
it
it.
is. Absolutely.
And I have the bed Carrie Noonan's died on too. So I'll show it to you next time.
There you go. Did you come over and clean it up? I mean, it
I
was
did.
a mess.
I had it cleaned before it was brought home. So if you
Well,
spend the night at my house, you spend the night on Carrie Noonan's deathbed.
oh, there you go. I'm open to that. I'll
That's
make
fine.
less a mess, though. That's for sure.
I bet you will. I bet
Hmm.
you will. You're pretty soon I see you coming to California. You're getting too many friends out here.
You know what? I never say never because I never thought I'd go to Toronto, but I say baby steps, but yeah,
I love it.
absolutely. Hmm.
I love you, Greg.
Love you too,
God
Nancy.
bless you. God bless you. Let our hearts grow strong and stay in God's will and not look at this ugliness and turn away. Let us pray through it. We must
Hmm.
pray through this because it's not pretty out there, but we've got to stay strong and be joyful unto the Lord.
Yes.
And you give me joy.
And although we love Jason Lives, the phrase of the day, Jesus lives. Yes, absolutely. Jesus
Thank
lives. Do a plug for my show before you head off on your dinner date.
Of course I will.
Yes.
This is Python. No, it's not. Cut that. This is Nancy McLoughlin, Lisbeth Mott from Jason Lives Part 6 on Python Radio with Greg Gilbert, the guy who's going to blow up podcasting so shortly and live the dream life he always meant to live. Jesus lives. I love it.
Absolutely. Love you, Nancy. You have
I love it.
yourself a nice dinner date.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.